Hello Brentwood Bears. Today I wanted to show you a couple of fun and easy crafts that you can do and artworks that you can do with leaves. So go outside, grab some leaves. Doesn't matter if what size they are, what color they are, that doesn't matter at all. As long as they have fallen off the tree, so don't grab them off the tree. And make sure they're not too crunchy. So see how this one is kind of soft? It's not crunchy yet. That will be better for your artwork. So I have about 6 or so. You won't need that many, but I would say 6 is a good amount, or more if you want. Ooh, this one's getting a little crunchy. That's okay. So the first thing I want to do with you is leaf rubbings. I'm sure you've done this before. So what you do, the first thing I like to do is I like to have a placemat. And you know from in our fine art studio, we like to work with placemats because then it doesn't get your table messy. Placemat can be any old piece of paper. This one happens to be new, but oh well. Also, I like to take a regular piece of paper. This is actually, it's a little thicker than regular paper since that seems to work really well for art projects. But any paper is fine. As artists, we work with whatever we have. So what I actually did with the paper is I cut it in half. Then it's less to work with. You don't have to fill the entire page, but I'm going to use both halves to do my projects, 2 different projects. So the other thing I do is I grab some tape. This is painter's tape, but honestly, any tape you have is fine. The only tape I would not use is probably duct tape because that could injure the table. So I just take some tape and I have a little trick because I want to tape down my paper here. But instead of just putting it right on the paper, I put some fuzz on it first. So then it doesn't rip my paper. Yes, I'm actually putting my tape on my shirt. Yes, you're gonna see it probably collected some fuzz, even some hairs. Oh well. I'm gonna put that to the side. Do that again. I'll put on my pants this time. Collect some fuzz. This way it'll come really easily off of your paper and it won't rip your paper. This is an art trick I learned a while ago from one of my art teachers. Stick it on you so it doesn't. It takes some of the stickiness away. Believe it or not, you don't want it too sticky. Okay. So I've got 4 pieces of tape chilling out on the side over here. Then I'm gonna take my paper. I'm gonna see how many leaves I wanna use underneath. Okay. Okay, I think 4 would be good. And you can reuse these leaves for the next project. Okay, so here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna put the leaves with the veins, so the back of the leaf, see the bumps? You want those veins of the leaves facing up to the sky. Veins up to the sky, bloop. And arrange them in a cool way where they're kind of all going in different directions, and they can always be going off of the paper too. Now I'm going to put my paper on top, and look, it's going to be a little smaller than my leaves. That's good. You want your art to go off of the page because that creates a really cool illusion. Put my paper right on top. Remember, the veins of the leaves, can you feel those bumps? That's good. If you feel the smooth part, gotta turn it around. You want them upside down with the veins up, the bumpy part up. Okay, I do have some leaves sticking out here. Do you see that? That's okay. That's part of the fun. I'm gonna take my tape that I've already kind of taped on myself here. I'm going to put it on all sides, and don't worry, you might end up taping some of the leaves. That's okay, as long as it holds your paper down a little bit. We're gonna do some texture rubbing. This is officially called. We're gonna create texture For my older students, you know that this is one of our elements of art that we study. So this is what your paper can look like once you have the tape. I wanted to pick blue tape so you guys can see it. Okay, then another thing you'll need is I took some old crayons. Don't take new crayons, well, unless you don't want them anymore, and I picked out some fall colors and I ripped off the paper of the crayons so they look like this. I got an orange, kind of a deep red. I only had one red left in my bag. So I know, and all these these are old ones that we don't really use anymore. I only found like a dark red, so that's all I have. As artists, we use what we have. Try and use fall colors because it'll match the theme and the season. So these are the colors I've got because these are the colors of leaves that I see outside. They kind of look like this leaf. Okay, so I'm gonna take the bottom of the crayon and I'm going to rub it on its side like this. And I'm not gonna do the whole paper. I'm just gonna decide where I want my certain colors. And the cool thing about this tape is that it keeps your leaves and your paper in place. And look, you can see all the veins. Okay, I've got a yellow crayon. I might overlap a little bit, the yellow and the green, because they're next to each other on the color wheel. I'm gonna use a lot of yellow, why not? Yellow blends really well with almost every color, except purple. So I added some yellow on there. I'm gonna add some of that deep, I think this is like a scarlet orange. Do some overlapping. Whoops. Added some of that orange. This looks really neat when you're done with it. And a light orange too. Yeah, careful, sometimes those crayons go flying around. And don't worry about the tape taking up some of your project, because we're gonna cut some of it off. I'll show you. Oh my goodness, this is turning out to be pretty cool. Don't be afraid to blend some of those colors together. Awesome. So this is what I end up with. You can actually, especially this one here, you can really see the leaves and the textures. Since I did that trick and I took the tape and first I kind of put it on me, it did not rip my paper at all. So that's a cool trick if you ever want to use tape to hold down your paper. Then we'll take everything off and I'll reuse these leaves for the next project. And there's no shortage of leaves falling off the trees. Oh, my paper did rip a little bit on that one. That's okay. And look, I'll sign it and I'll hang it up somewhere. Isn't that fun? So that's texture leaf rubbing with crayons. Now I'm gonna do a different type of art using leaves. We're gonna do printmaking. Printmaking is a different type of art that really is a fancy word for stamping. So we're gonna use our leaves as stamps. And here's what we'll need for printmaking. For printmaking, we're gonna need some markers. And then we're also, I know it's weird, but we are actually going to use wet wipes. And if you don't have a wet wipe, you can just take a paper towel and wet it a little bit. Again, I'm gonna use that half piece of paper. Why not? I think I'm gonna use the same pieces of tape and I'm gonna tape it down again so then my paper's not gonna move around on the placemat. It's good to reuse the tape because then it's not as sticky and again, it won't rip your paper. You don't need to tape the whole perimeter down, just a little bit. Kind of helps keep it in place. Another Novak hack. So I just tape down. Again, I'm using a half piece of paper. So I have markers ready, I have leaves ready, and I have a baby wipe ready, or wet wipe. Don't use the Clorox ones. I'm not sure about the chemicals in there, so a baby wipe would be better, or a wet paper towel. And we use those because these Crayola markers, make sure you're using the washable markers, because they are, they're washable. Okay, I'm gonna pick out those fall colors again. So here are the colors I'm picking out. If my daughter were here, she'd wanna put pink because she loves pink everything. I might even use a little bit of brown because I'm seeing a lot of brown too in the fall. So I'll just put those aside. All right, I've got my wet wipe ready. You'll see why. I'm gonna use another placemat so I don't get my table messy. Again, any old piece of paper will do. Okay, I'm gonna take my leaf. This is the front, this is the back with all the veins sticking up. You can feel the bumps. I wanna be using the back of the leaf with the bumps facing up. And I'm gonna take my markers and I'm gonna start with yellow first because it won't suck up as easily the other colors. And I'm taking it on its side and I'm rubbing my marker a little bit on all the bumps of the leaf, and you can actually color all over it. Remember, we're on the bumpy side. So I did yellow, and I think I'm gonna do some orange. And if they mix together, that's okay because you did the light color first. I can't wait to show you what this does. It's kind of magical. And don't forget the stem too, why not? Okay, I'm just doing yellow and orange on that one. Watch this. I'm gonna take my wet wipe where I wanna put my leaf. Not everywhere, just a little part. I'm gonna rub, okay, not too much because you don't want the paper to disintegrate. And right away, I'm gonna turn my leaf over and press, 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 press it down. And if it moves a little bit, that's okay. We're creating a print. Whoa, look at that. You're not gonna believe it. Isn't that cool? Awesome. My tip for this is to use the lighter colors first. So I used yellow first. And you can reuse this leaf and wipe it off, but I'm just gonna use another one. So I'm gonna pick another fresh leaf. I'm gonna try 2 other colors now. I'm gonna start with yellow again because that looked really cool. And I'm rubbing it. You can't really see me rubbing it, but let me move my, I'm going on the side of the marker and I'm rubbing the marker on the leaf. I did the yellow first. This time I'm gonna do red. The only color that you might want to not mix together here could be the green and the red, because those are complementary colors. And sometimes green and red, they're gonna make a brown, but brown is a fall color. All right, I don't want this to dry. I gotta work quickly. I'm gonna wipe with the wet wipe, not too much. Ooh, maybe a little more because this leaf is really big. And press it down, boom, 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 boom. All parts of that leaf. Really press it. You want to get all those veins pressed in. Oh my gosh, this one's gonna be cool too. Oh, it's like a surprise when you take it off. Yes. I think it's time for some green. Oh, I'm running out of time. Videos on YouTube can only be 15 minutes long. I think you're getting the idea. When you're done with this, take the tape off, sign it, add more cool designs to it. You could use a new wet wipe, you don't have to. Oh my goodness. Boom. Hope you had